Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome to another edition of the Biohacked Life podcast. So if I'm not mistaken, this is episode number 10, first recorded episode
Yay.
of 2019. And first of all, I'd like to thank our brand new sponsor on the show, Neo Life Physical Therapy here in D'Iberville. Dr. Robby Ellis and his staff are amazing, amazing individuals, and that's actually where I go. So shout out to Neo Life in D'Iberville for helping me get my shoulder and my body healthy. Like literally every time I walk in, like, all right, what are we working on today?
Nice.
Just because my body's so beat up. But guys, today to say I'm excited would be an understatement because this is one of my favorite people in the world. And you're going to find out why during this episode.
Do I need Kleenexes?
Maybe. I don't know. Potentially. We'll cross our bridge when we get there. But this is Dr. Sheila Rivers. And
Not yet.
Not yet. We're working on it.
Doctor,
We're going to go ahead and claim that.
Yes.
And she is a psychotherapist.
Yes.
Has an amazing practice in Gulfport with unbelievable people.
Yes.
That she works with. And I'm excited to have her on the show today because everyone who knows me knows how important mental health is to me. I mean, I haven't even told you this, but I'm actually now on the board of the Mental Health Association of South Mississippi.
Yay.
It's one of the things like I just want to do. And my own nonprofit deals with mental health.
Awesome.
So,
I didn't know this.
yeah. Guys, I started out in physical health. Now my passion is mental health. So I'm extremely excited. And what better time to do this show than now?
Beginning of the year.
So, Miss Sheila, how are you doing today?
Amazing. I'm
You
doing
are.
good. I'm glad. I'm here with you. We always have a good time when we're together. So
And it's a beautiful day.
Oh my God,
Sun
it's
is
gorgeous
shining,
outside.
as y'all can see. Like, this is just natural light from the outside.
Yes.
So I always love starting out the podcast this way because I believe it's how we should start every day. What is something you're grateful for?
Oh, today I am really grateful for lessons that I've learned in life. So even, that was my post on Facebook yesterday.
Okay.
And so even when you don't understand it, be thankful and find the positive lesson in it.
The Collateral Beauty.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Yes.
Okay, I thoroughly agree. It's one of my biggest
Yeah.
platforms as well.
Yep.
Second question that is going to be a curveball for you.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yep, get ready. If you had to have a walkout song for life, what would it be? A song that just gets you going.
Oh my gosh. I want to say something by Rod Stewart. Like he always,
Rod
like
Stewart. Okay.
yeah.
He brings energy, that's for sure.
yes.
So he's definitely your favorite artist.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite. I'm kind of an all-around girl. I actually my latest artist that I've kind of fell in love with is Dan and Shay.
I don't know who that is.
Dan and Shay sings Tequila, Obsessed,
Okay.
Speechless.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, so guys, Miss Sheila is right now a psychotherapist and does an amazing job counseling and helping people. And I've always heard that people get into this line of work to either solve their personal problems
Yeah.
or solve their family's problems.
Yeah.
So I want to dig into a little bit about why psychotherapy, why you started doing this, and where it all began.
Okay, you want the short version today because
Sure.
we only have an hour, right?
Yeah, we only have an hour and we talk a lot.
Okay, we do. Okay, so the short version is kind of, I had, as a young teenage mom, I had 3 kids at the age of 15. And the real funny part is really not funny, but it can, I can laugh now. My father was a minister. So so I was the bad girl of the family, and needless, I got married at 17. I moved away to Danbury, Connecticut. About 5 years in that marriage, we moved around to several different places, from Connecticut to Florida to Gainesville, Georgia. About 5 years of that marriage, I started noticing some things that were really abusive, and that's not what I was always taught. In the culture that I kind of grew up in, that abuse wasn't a real thing, sort of. So my son, the third child, was diagnosed with ADHD. I think he was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And we got directed to a social worker, a clinical social worker. We had DHS called on us. And in that, this social worker basically, after I told that part of my story to her, she's like, she just looked at me. She says, "You just don't know how to be a mama."
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
That was a gut check.
Yeah, it was. And so I only did what I knew how to do at the age of 15. What do you know about being a mom? And you just kind of learn what you just do whatever you
Right.
think is
It's
right.
modeled behavior at that point.
Exactly. So after seeing her, and she said it oh so gently and out of love, I simply said, "You know what? You're right." And so I got some resources from her, and she says, "Why don't you take a class and like psychology or child behavior or something like that?" So I registered for a college class, which is psychology, and I absolutely fell in love. To this day, I still cannot remember that professor's name. I wish I could. Like, I would send her thank you note right now. And so I probably could go back on my transcript and look at it. I never thought about that.
Yep.
But needless to say, I took psychology, and then from that very moment in class, I knew this is what I want to do, is help other people. And so fast forward, my life got crazy. I divorced. My ex-husband was in and out of just ridiculous relationships. I cannot wait until you do this relationship podcast. Like, I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my screen like this.
Oh, it's coming.
You know? So in and out of relationships, I divorced my ex-husband, bought a house. My ex-husband and I had a child together. And so I hit rock bottom at the end of this crazy, dysfunctional relationship. Like, I quit my job. I went home. I was on the couch. I had a bottle of tequila. And I was like, you know what? Just forget it. I don't even really care anymore. And my brother came over. I hadn't showered. I think my kids may have called him. I have no idea. Like, that whole entire week is still a blur in my life because I was so far out of it.
Right.
And that was my rock bottom.
What age were you?
35. So this is the critical age for women, about 35 to about 40. We start to get in panic mode about, where am I going in life? What am I doing? We adopt all of these society rules that say I should be at this place at this particular time in my life. I should have retirement funds set up, and I should have kids, and I should be married, and I should have a house with 2.5 kids and a dog running around in the yard. Like, I should have all of these things.
The American dream.
It is. Exactly. And so it jacked so many people up, including myself, because I started to adopt these societal norms. I remember clearly talking to my ex-fiance about 2005-06, saying, "Oh my gosh, we got to hurry up. If we're going to get married, like, I got to have a child. Like, I don't want to be 40 raising even kids. Like, we got to hurry this thing up. Do we have plans?" So needless to say, I ended up, I was in such a rock bottom state. I remember this professor that had taught, because I stayed in school, but it was like one class at a time, 2 classes at a time, online class, night class, working 2 and 3 jobs, and still going to school, like, just plugging through. It took me 10 years to get an undergrad degree. So I remember this professor in my undergrad that she was no longer teaching, and she opened her own private practice. And I don't know why I thought about her on that day. I walked out of my job, and I just went and sat in her office. I didn't have an appointment. I didn't have insurance. I just sat, and I was a total mess. I'm talking like snot and tears and couldn't catch my breath, kind of crying. And the poor lady came out. The receptionist said, "Miss Sheila, we just don't have any appointments." She said, "I'm so sorry. She's booked up today." I said, "I'm just going to sit here."
What was the final straw for you?
I think that when you get in your mind that negative self-talk, adopting those societal rules that I'm not gonna make the deadline almost. Like, I'm not gonna meet these standards.
So was it the realization of that?
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly. And so, and it technically, it wasn't ever about this guy that I was with. I mean, he was unfaithful and, lying and all that stuff. But in my mind, I, I wasn't going to make these deadlines, by 35 and 40. And these are the things that I have to do. This is where I'm supposed to be, right? Like, I should have a college degree. I should have this retirement fund. I should have, like, I should. That is such a myth. And it sent me just plummeting to the bottom. Like, if it wasn't for my kids, I probably would have committed suicide, honestly.
So I have a question, and I read this somewhere one time, and I kind of find it to be true. Do you think unmet expectations is like the number one cause of depression?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. I have too many. If y'all keep adopting these rules of society, I will forever be in business and I will be a millionaire. Okay. So don't stop. I'm not telling you to stop, but we're going to work on some stuff. All right. So
It's true.
have your own rules and goals that you want to meet, not what society says.
Right.
By the age of 35, 40, you should be in this place.
Oh, we're both bucking that trend.
Oh my God.
Let's keep rolling.
I'm past.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think if I read a stat the other day, if you make it to the age of 35 without being married, you have statistically beat having your first divorce.
Wow.
I'm like, that's a sad stat to have.
A goal you want to have? I'm not really sure about that.
I was like, I guess that's me, but then again, I don't know if I'm proud of that. Like, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to your story. So you're sitting there in her office, and you're sitting there.
I'm just sitting, like, because I feel paralyzed. I don't have any other option, so I'm just going to sit here. And eventually, she came out. She said, I am so sorry. She said, I have a lunch break, but if you don't mind that I have lunch while I talk to you, I will talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen her for the last 13 years.
That's awesome. So you like literally went to the like only source of light you knew.
Yes.
Like, okay, this lady is a source of light in my life.
Yes.
I'm in a very dark place.
Very.
Let me go to her.
Yes.
I love that.
And so I still see her, but it's not because I've got things going on. She's my sounding board.
Right.
Like, if she ever writes a book, oh my God, it's going to be like a top seller. Seriously.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But she knows my good. She knows my bad. She knows my ugly. She has seen me way here, and then she's seen me on the mountaintop also. So that's the second time that I've had a mental health angel to kind of basically save my life.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've been there.
Okay. And even just yesterday, I know even in my wellness, I was just like, I was in my office yesterday, and no lie, I was walking through the office and praying. I was like, God, every person that walks through my door, I don't ever want them to feel that pain and walk out with it when they come to our office. Like, I am so serious about changing lives. I know what, and we call it the dark side. Me and my girlfriends call it the dark side. I know what the dark side feels like.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And so that is my passion. And a friend of mine sent me a quote that basically says, how do you know you're a healer? Because you keep falling in love with broken people.
So true. And I heard a guy say this one time. He was kind of like a like this Viking shaman guy. And he said that, being a source of light, you're always going to attract dark moths.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And it's so true. Like, it's a very good visual.
And I can see it like right now.
Yeah. But you just have to be careful about that.
Yeah, you do. You do. And which is why I keep my own source of light in place at all times.
Right.
Like, I still, and that's part of my own self-care. Everybody needs a self-care regimen. Like,
absolutely.
I just read, and I'm scrolling through social media while we're preparing here, and another professional was saying, hey, forgive me, but I'm taking a break today, and my break is a mental health break, so forgive me if I don't respond immediately. People in need expect us to respond immediately. I get it. You need me now, not I'll call you back. No, you need me You
Right.
need me where you're sitting in my office, snotting in my lobby. Like that kind of need me.
Yeah,
So I don't mind, but sometimes I have to take a break.
you do.
I got to take a break.
Because you have to fill your cup before you can pour in others.
Exactly.
And I understand, like, I used to be like a really bad empath with my clients.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I would go and help a client and they would leave feeling like $1,000,000. I would go crawl in the fetal position on my couch for the rest of the day.
Yes.
And I had to learn how to separate that.
Yes.
And the way I separated that was like by making sure that before I worked with a client, my cup was full.
Yes.
I took care of myself first. That way, I have to help myself before I can help other people.
Yes.
There's a reason on the airplane you put your oxygen on first. Before helping anyone else get theirs on. Right. And that's what we have to do.
Yes.
So I totally, that was the hardest thing I had to learn in my coaching business, was to take care of myself first.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be broken and help other broken people.
Yes. My office is closed every Monday for Self-Care Monday. Every
Love
Monday
that.
we're closed. Okay. Which is why I can be here with you today because my office is closed. And we take a vacation every quarter. We get 1 week vacation every quarter. We are closed 1 week for Thanksgiving. We are closed from the weekend before Christmas until January the 2nd.
Yeah, y'all work those European hours. I love it. It's so true, especially in your line of work.
Yes, you have to.
You have to.
Now, when we're there,
oh, you're grinding.
we are grinding big time.
Yeah, you don't sleep enough.
No, I don't.
That's another subject for another day.
Okay. Yeah. We won't talk about that.
So, like I told you earlier, this is one of the few episodes I've actually like written out questions ahead of time
That's not
for.
fair. I didn't even get a copy of the questions.
No, because I want the real raw answers, and because mental health is so important to me, I want to cover some topics.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why later. It's cool. So my first question is, why do you think that the mental illness levels are reaching almost epidemic levels in the world today? Why is it so much worse now than in previous generations?
I still have to go back to adopting these societal rules. Okay. We also that would be one of my things. And then we've had it brought to the forefront also. I don't think that mental health hasn't been there, but I think the awareness of it is now more so on the forefront with our veterans, with, our children. Child abuse when I was growing up was not child abuse.
No.
You just got your behind
you got disciplined.
Tore up.
Yeah,
okay.
I did too.
And so, that was something that kind of came on the forefront about the 70s or even 80s, when child abuse was kind of saying, you can't. They cannot get a spanking with an extension cord. Like, that's abuse. It's like, well, why did somebody say that to my mama?
Yeah.
So I think that mental health has always been there, but the awareness of it is more on the forefront.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I think we are more aware of it nowadays. So almost like we're aware almost to the point where it's causing a problem, in my opinion.
Yes.
And we're quick to label nowadays. Instead of like, the way I differentiate it is, we're all writing our story of life.
Yes.
And oftentimes we confuse a scene in the story with the story.
Yes.
And we have like a bad day or a bad month. Oh, well, I'm depressive. Maybe you just had a bad month.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're just going through a breakup right now.
Yes.
Maybe like you're just having a problem and it's not like an actual chemical imbalance in your brain. So I think that is another aspect of it. But I think also too, we're being hardwired now for immediate gratification.
Oh my gosh. That for our younger generation.
Oh yeah.
That is so many teenagers.
You're getting fired up and I love it.
I could just have a whole nother segment about that. About our teenagers and this instant gratification, I do something and so I expect.
Right.
And that's not how the world works. And so we are training even our adolescents and younger group of kids World does not work like that. You go on somebody's real job, everybody's not going to be entrepreneurs or some sports, superstar.
Right.
And so it does create these mood disorders. I probably see more children with ODD, which is just oppositional defiant disorder, where you're just kind of acting out, unruly, not respecting to societal rules. You're not respecting to authority, which then turns into ODD or DMDD, disruptive dysregulation mood disorder. So that turns, as an adult, that turns into bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
No. Sometimes it just takes, and I will tell my parents, it's like, no, I'm holding you responsible.
Right.
We got some societal rules and also household rules. Do they have any chores?
Have they ever learned responsibility?
Any responsibility
or accountability
at all? No. I just play my game all day long on, did you clean your room? Did you, it's leaves are falling. Kids need some rakes. They should have got some rakes for Christmas presents so they can rake the yard. Yeah.
Do you find with a lot, because I've done some work with some veterans, like PTSD stuff,
mm-hmm.
and I find like one of the biggest problems there is once they get back, a lack of mission and purpose in life.
Yes.
Do you find the same thing with kids? Like, because you're talking about like they're playing video games and they're not having like chores and accountability. Do you think that's like a lack of like a purpose-driven life?
I don't even know if kids know what purpose-driven life is these days.
Yeah.
Again, I have to go back to my parents. Are you holding them responsible and accountable for finding their purpose?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to play video games, but are we playing video games because we're learning how to build them, or are you going to some kind of, and I do have some friends that their kid are going to these large conventions in Vegas and things like that. Like, I get it, but
right.
Are we working toward that? They've got, I don't even know the terminology for it because I don't play video games, but they have these live viewings.
Yep.
And getting paid for it.
They are.
Okay, so are we doing that?
Is it like an entrepreneurial thing?
Yeah.
Are we learning a new skill?
Right. I mean, if that's not the case, then what is their purpose?
Right.
Are you pushing them? My youngest daughter is 16, but I took her to high school and I homeschooled her for 2 years when I started my business.
Mm-hmm.
And part of her school was you homeschool for 4 hours, you go to the dance studio every day. I know you love to dance, and so you will learn something else, fine arts, to expose you to another culture, to expose you to something different. And so now she teaches at the dance studio.
That's awesome.
And she loves it.
So how does a parent do that? Like, in your opinion, because parenting's definitely one of the hardest things you'll ever do in this world.
Oh God.
Because there's no like really instruction manual for it.
No. You can't turn to page 372 on paragraph 2 and no, there's no.
It doesn't work like that. How does a parent like instill that into a kid, like where you're working for something or they have that purpose or mission? How does a parent like actually help a child find that for themselves?
So one of the things that, and I have a really, really great therapist in my office that does an excellent job because I don't counsel children. Mm-hmm. That is it just pulls too much of my heartstring, and that's my boundary.
Right.
Okay. And so I have 2 that actually really counsel children. And one of the things I know that they really implement is reward and punishment. I mean, that's like Psych 101.
Yeah, it is.
You do something, and so the reward has to be something that they want.
Right.
So if you're going to reward them with, I don't know, M&Ms every time they do something good, but he doesn't like chocolate, that's ineffective.
Right. That's not an actual reward.
Right. So if you're going to reward him with 2 hours on the game and have a limitation, it's like, no, you have to earn your time on the game. Just like we have to, we don't get paid
Oh, ain't that the
unless
truth?
we work.
Exactly.
Okay, that is the society, the way it
That is a
rolls.
life skill.
That is. So start implementing those things in your children right now. You know, this is a particular behavior I want you to model. You model that behavior, and not that every single behavior needs to be rewarded, but to implement a behavior, reward it every time, intermittently, and eventually fade it out.
Right.
Again, that's a simple Psych 101.
And
Okay.
I read somewhere too, and I thought it was extremely brilliant. I think it was in the book Mindset by Carol Dweck.
Okay, I read that.
And she talks about, like, with kids, you don't reward the outcome. You reward the like the effort it took to get the outcome.
Yes.
You reward the smarts, like the studying it took to make that grade. Like, you reward
Yes.
what it took to get the outcome, not
That
the
is
outcome
correct.
itself.
That is correct. That is correct. And so even if you have a child, and so parents, don't set expectations like, I don't know, you have 5 days in school, and so I need 5 greens. Start with something small, you know, especially if it's a child that's having problems with behavior in school. Give me 2 out of 5 days.
Right.
And we get to do something really fun that you want. Just whatever the reward is, make sure it's something that will make a difference to them. And so they get 2 out of 5 days. Well, 2 out of 5 days, that may be really something that you know they can really accomplish. Okay. And so when you reward that, and it's like, man, that was a great job. You did good. This was awesome. We are going to Chick-fil-A and get ice cream, and you can get one of those really warm cookies that
That are amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're like, man, I did it. Yes, I get to go to, or I get to hang out with my friends at the trampoline park, or, you know, I get to play on my game, or, you know, I get to have a friend over for 2 hours. So it was 2 out of 5, not 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we bump it up, you know,
Next week is 3 or 2
3
weeks
out of
later.
5. Like, you know what? I know you can do this. You did 2 days last week. It's not going to be a problem. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And we kind of go from there. So I know that my therapists use a lot of reward, and not necessarily punishment, but we didn't make it, so we just don't get that.
Don't get the reward.
We don't get the reward. Not that I have to take something else from you, but you just don't get that reward.
Right.
And so we're going to try again next week. All right.
I think it's basically training your kid to be like almost like goal oriented,
Yes.
and having a goal and realizing that going for a goal and getting rewarded for it is a good thing.
Right. We spent 4 years in school. We get a reward.
Get a piece of paper.
Yes. And you get to do something like this, you know?
Yeah, you get a piece of paper in debt. Congratulations.
Yes. Yes. You go to school 4 years. You go to school another 4 years. And so, you know, it is the way the American life
It is.
is.
So switching gears a little bit,
Let's switch.
what do you think, because most of, I mean, we don't have many kids listeners, as far as like adults, what's the biggest thing you're seeing right now, like the biggest problem adults are having?
Oh, wow. Those adopting those societal roles. I have, and I see a lot of women, okay? Usually I don't get a lot of guys that walk through my door to say,
Men, we don't talk about this kind of stuff.
y'all don't.
No.
So my population is adult moms. That is my passion, is single moms.
Okay.
So I have a lot of women that sit on my couch, and it's adopting those societal roles.
I totally agree with you, because a lot of times in my practice, they'll say something that is completely a societal norm, like I can't do that because of this.
Why?
Who said that?
Right. And that is my exact response. Like, who said?
Who said that to you?
Did the universe or the
Right.
higher power say something
Did
to
you
you
get this
like that?
game plan of life I didn't know about that I missed out on?
Share the book with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I missed that one. I forgot the playbook of life where
Yes.
that came from.
Yeah.
But you know, I totally agree, and I asked him like, well, where does that come from? Like, who said that?
Right.
Why do you think that way?
Yes.
And then they of course they can't give you a valuable answer other than that's what they have always done, or that's what my parents told me, or something like that. I'm like, what truth does that stand in?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it might stand in opinion,
Right.
which that opinion is not standing in truth, but like
Yes.
that, it drives me nuts.
Yes. Me too.
Why can't you do that?
You can do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
And I fight like this burning passion in my stomach just gets fired up when someone says exactly that. Who said? Why?
But then it's our job not to get emotionally charged in that conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Where we want to get fired up. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, I will say, like, I'm like the therapist that's really way outside of the box.
Good.
I don't, there is no norm in my sessions.
Good.
Yeah. You come in, well, you see my office.
Yeah.
You come in, you want some coffee? I make you some coffee. You need a blanket? We have blankets. Okay. Take your shoes off. Get your blanket. I'm going to pull this C-stand up here to you. You got your Kleenexes. You got your coffee. You need some Lindora chocolates in your coffee too. That's a secret that I got in my office.
Let's release some endorphins to get talking about some fun stuff.
So it's a totally different atmosphere. And we are simply having a conversation. And at first you don't know me, but
Right.
you're just having a conversation with a stranger. That's it. And I'm going to make you feel as comfortable as
you make it a
possibly
safe
can.
space to do that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But that's what was done for me. And so I've had those amazing angels in my life that did exactly that.
See, I find that, so that's one of the hardest parts about my job, is I hate admitting this, but when people look at me, they automatically assume, oh, he's got everything together. He's had an easy life. You know, here's this all-American college football player. Look at him like he works out. Like he's just perfect. I'm like, you have no idea. So like, I hate doing it, but it's part of like when I'm coaching someone is I have to spend the first 30, 45 minutes breaking down the wall.
Yes.
Like when somebody comes to talk to me, they automatically, like they have their full armor on.
Yes.
And they're going to war. I'm like, oh, this is not war.
Yes.
Like, let me tear down this wall first.
Yes.
And I always get so frustrated having to, like I had a woman tell me one time, she sat down. As soon as she sat down,
Oh,
she leaned back with those arms crossed. I'm like, oh God, here we go. I'm like, okay, let me tell you my story first.
Right.
And as I was telling my story, she of course uncrossed arms first, then started leaning in. And like by the end of this hour and a half session we had, she goes, when I first sat down with you, I was not going to do business with you. But now that I know you've been through what I'm going through, we can have a conversation about this.
Right.
And that's frustrating to me. So the fact that you're like, bring them in with here, grab a blanket, let's get some coffee.
Yes.
Like, let's get some chocolate. Let's release some endorphins.
What you need.
Yeah, exactly. It's creating that safe space for people because in our society, and this is a great question. I just thought about this. I didn't even write this one down.
Oh my gosh.
I don't care what you call it, the Me Too movement, women's liberation movement, like whatever it is. Women are taught to be tougher nowadays.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me on that topic.
We're going to talk about this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Women are taught to be tough nowadays.
Yes.
And look, I totally agree why. Because the world's a scary place. There's a lot of evil people in this world. Yeah. There's people that are taking advantage of people. Like, I understand that. But women walk around with this, and I know men do it too, so I'm not just singling out women here. But since you're the expert on this.
But let's talk about women. Come on.
Let's talk about women since you're the expert on this, and I got you on the podcast. Women walk around with this like full armor on all day, every day. And I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem for men too, but women are just like closed off as soon as you talk to them. Like, I can't even be nice to a woman on the street nowadays without them thinking like I'm trying to like throw them in my van. Like I don't even own a van, but stranger danger. Yeah, exactly. I love complimenting people. I can't do that. Sometimes they're like, what do you want? What are you trying to get at? I'm like, nothing. I was just telling you I love your shoes. Like,
So that's just not with men. Even with women, we can't even be friendly.
Oh, I know.
Toward each other.
I've seen it and I can't stand it, but go ahead.
It gets really, really ugly. I'd offered assistance to another professional, I said, you know what, I love what you're doing. I want to just be able to help you. She asked me for a meeting. And that meeting, her first question is, thank you for offering. What do you want? I'm just being nice.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I generally loved what you were doing and in the community and the passion that you have for this. I just wanted to be a part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care, like, if I'm like the usher at the door.
Right.
I just wanted to help you.
Just wanted to help.
So it's not just with men.
Right. Oh, I know.
That there's this armor on. I think it's just come from unfair life sometimes for women. And I hate to go into all this, but my thesis is going to kind of be based on the strong Black woman schema. And this shield, and it's not just for African American women, but this shield that we take on.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be strong. Well, that is going to absolutely, literally kill you.
It will.
It has, we are the 57% of African American women die from cardiovascular or some type of cardiac arrest, something stress related.
Yeah.
And so the other 40 whatever percent there are anything other than African American women. And so I don't have those statistics, but if I knew we were going to talk about that, I would have had my statistics in front of me today.
Yeah.
But we take on this, like, we have to have the weight of the world on our shoulders. Some of it, I think, is cultural. And some of it is just, life has dealt you a crappy hand. Don't mean crappy. And so now you build this wall up so no one can even get to you, and you can't even get to you.
No.
You have no idea who you are, what you want in life, where you're going. You're always angry. You're pissed off about something. Nobody can even say hello. No one can pay you a compliment. Just let it down just a little bit. And I'm not saying that you have to trust everyone.
Right.
But life is beautiful, and you are missing it, sister.
Yes. Amen. I agree.
Missing it.
Because that's how I lived the first 29 years of my life. With, my wall was, I had an impenetrable, steel reinforced concrete wall, bunker proof. And it was because I'd been hurt and I didn't want to be hurt anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had emotions. I didn't know how to I didn't know how to tap into them because they were so repressed. Like, I went through a 2-year period of my life and I didn't even smile.
Yeah.
Just from everything that happened.
Right.
And I built this wall, and I see so many, men too, but women, and they've built up this wall where they're so scared to be authentically themselves, and they're so scared of their vulnerability,
Right.
that they have a hard time forming any kind of relationship.
At all. Like, that's just not intimate.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like any kind of relationship.
Coworkers, your family, you're pissed off at them, just any form of relationship at all is dysfunctional.
Right.
And so what I have to really say is, and I was her. Like, I used to be her. And I just missed out on love in life. I saw a lady at church Sunday, and I've learned to give genuine hugs. Like, when I hug you tight. Like, I mean.
There's no, like, one shoulder butt out hugs here. Can't be doing all that.
If you feel awkward hugging me, I'm sorry.
That's your fault.
But I'm going to I embrace you. And I let you know, you are someone very special. Whether I know your name or not, you are a human being.
Right.
And the power of physical touch can be absolutely amazing. Have you ever hugged somebody and you just got real emotional?
Oh, yeah.
Because you just feel that energy that is so amazing. And you're like, oh my God, how did they know I needed this today?
Yeah.
So
I've learned to warn people. Like, I go in, I'm like, look, I'm a hugger.
I'm going all the way in.
I'm coming in. But I learned that from Sean T.
Oh, yeah.
Who does Insanity?
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast with him like 5 years ago. And he's like, I don't care who you are, you're getting a hug from me.
Yes.
And it might be an uncomfortably long hug.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, but
Yes.
I'm just going to do that.
You know, people are pulling back and you're still in.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
still in on the hug.
Yeah. And
It's like, no, you come here. Come back here.
right? You need this right now more than me. And I learned that from him, and I just started, like, it was really uncomfortable for me at first.
Yes.
And I just started doing it and more of
Yes.
it. Now, like, it's probably half the reason, like, people think around the Mississippi Gulf Coast, like, people think I'm gay and I'm not, is because, like, I'll walk up to my male friends and like, no, bro, we're not handshaking, we're hugging.
We're hugging. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's like, it doesn't, like, I, like, just find that for me, it's just a sign of, like, hey, bro, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like we're not having business right now. We're not needing a handshake to
Right.
confirm
Right.
a deal.
Right. I see you.
Right.
Yes.
It's almost like in yoga they say namaste, which
Yes.
is like my soul recognizes your soul.
Yes. Yes.
And like
yes.
I love that, and I feel everybody needs more hugs.
I do too. I love it.
Yeah.
I do. One of the things I do want to say is in for women, when we have this shield on, when we have our super suit on, and we've been hurt by so many experiences, I have learned to just take a step back and appreciate the pain.
Oh yeah.
So what did that pain teach you? My pain pushed me to this doctorate degree.
Mm-hmm.
I was so pissed off at my ex-husband that I was like, because when I walked out the door, he says, "You'll never be ish without me." I said, "Oh, brother, let me tell you
Just
something."
wait. Oh, I hope you're watching.
I hope you're watching. No hate against him. No. That's not it. But that pain pushed me to find my purpose.
Right.
It pushed me to say, there's so much more in you than you laying on this sofa and oh, woe is me. Okay, so what you gonna do with the pain?
Right.
What are you gonna do? We're gonna exercise? I ran my first 10K.
What?
Oh, boop.
Get 'em.
This was like many years ago. But I have signed up for another one in November. Yes, I'm doing another 10K in November. But many years ago, that pain pushed me to run a 10K. I hadn't run since junior high school. Like, what? Well, and so I did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a run and walk. But
You still did it.
I finished.
Right.
Like I crossed the finish line and we had beer afterwards. But that was like like
yeah, that's how it works.
So, but it pushed me to another level
Mm-hmm.
of my journey of self-discovery. Like, wow, if I can do that, like, what can I do?
Right.
If I can do this, okay, well, my gosh, I reached another goal. I'm like 2 semesters out, and I did not realize that I was 2 semesters out because I've been taking classes as an undergrad forever.
For 10 years.
For 10 years. And so my counselor says, you're only 2 semesters out before you graduate. Like, I went into tears.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in her office, she's like, "Are you okay?" And so she had no idea what that really meant to me.
Right.
It was pushing through the pain. It was pushing through my armor. And eventually, every time I'd run, I'd lose a piece of armor. I'd lose a piece. Find something in that. What did it push you to do that you would not have done if you weren't in pain?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to dig deeper? Did you have to become more grounded? Did you take a yoga class? Did you practice, you started running? What did you do? Did you branch out and find new friends that are really your true friends? Like, what did it push you to? Did you discover something new about yourself?
Right.
So use your armor, and each time you learn something new about yourself in self-discovery, peel it off. Drop it on the side of the road, leave it wherever you want to leave it at. Don't go back and pick it up. But you are missing out on life, sisters.
You are. And for me, I wouldn't be doing anything I'm doing now if it wasn't for my pain.
Yes.
Like, I call the book The Struggle is Real because it is. But my tagline is struggle is real, but I am stronger.
Yes.
Everything I've been through in my past because I've chosen now very intently to have a growth mindset.
Yep.
Everything I've been through is a learning experience. Even when bad crap happens now, because I'm still a human being living in a real world.
Yeah.
Even when bad crap happens now, okay, what is this trying to teach me?
Yes.
who is trying to emerge out of this.
Yes.
So I totally agree with you on that. And my biggest problem with kind of the movement in today's world when it comes to pain is we're so positively focused on being positive that we oftentimes put the pain aside because we need to be positive right now.
No.
And I'm like, whoa, time out. You need to go sit in that for a little while and figure out why that pain happened.
Yes.
And one of the best things I did in my life, because I lived a very numb life. I didn't feel negative pain, but I didn't feel any positive either. One of the best things I ever did was sit in my pain and write my autobiography. And I just sat in it and I cried and I laughed and like it was depressing at times, but it was joyful at times. And I realized what my darkest lows were and my darkest times. But in those darkest times, it made me appreciate the beauty of the light.
Yes.
And I feel like in society right now, we're so focused on the light and the positivity and all that, we don't even want to deal with the pain. Like we just bury it and get back to positivity. Woohoo, sunshine and rainbows.
No.
Like only in the light only in the dark can you appreciate the light.
Yes.
And I am like uber passionate about that.
Yes.
Like let's go
Me
sit
too.
in your pain for a little while.
Yes.
Let's not just go listen to another 4 hours of motivational speaking.
Yes.
And be happy. Because I'm sorry, but that's just an insulin drip you're on. Let's actually deal with what's going on.
Deal with the pain. One of my most favorite things is, this is going to really sound crazy, when I see purple flowers on the side of the road.
Okay, why?
Purple flowers on the side of the road is the one thing I would see when I was running. There was always like these little patches of purple. I don't even know what the
it's like a
purple flowers
wildflower. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was just like little patches of purple flowers. And so anytime I see those purple flowers, that reminds me
It's a trigger.
very much so. Yeah,
I love it.
That was my light in that dark spot, was the purple flowers. Because I knew if I made it, I was training myself to run this, and along the way, I was like, you know what? I'll run to the garbage. I'll run to the stop sign. I'll run to the set of purple flowers. And so that was, it's still, even when I'm driving along the road.
You see them?
I see.
It's empowering.
Yes.
Because it reminds you of when you empowered yourself.
Exactly. The purple flowers.
I love it. So I think one of the big questions that I want you to cover,
Okay.
because my big thing is, and what I love about what you do and what I love about having you on today is people need to realize they're not alone.
Oh, God, no.
And people, because so many people deal with problems like, I'm the only one dealing with this. It's just me. Why does the world hate me? All that. Is pain an inevitable part of life?
Yes. Yes, like you will have it.
How do we deal with it?
What do you learn from it?
Right. It's so simple. It's so simple.
Okay, this podcast is over with. Thank you, Robby, for having me.
Done. Growth mindset, people. Just stay there. What do you learn from it?
What do you learn from it?
I agree.
Yeah. What's your self-discovery in it? And sometimes it's hard to, you say, well, oh my gosh, like I'm in this. I'm in the pain right now. What do you mean? What am I supposed to learn? Had a conversation. This is so crazy. Had a conversation this weekend with someone that was in that painful place. I said, what are you learning from this? What is it teaching you?
Mm-hmm. I think what's hard, like I'm 100% on board with you and I agree with you. I think what's hard about it is detaching yourself emotionally.
In order to see that.
In order to see the logical side of it. Because like when you're in the middle of it, you're so emotionally driven at that point.
Yes.
And you and I both know like the emotional brain and the logical brain have a hard time working together.
Yes.
So it's like getting away from the emotional side of it and getting back to the logical, okay, what am I learning through this right now?
Right.
What's a good strategy for, helping to get over the emotional side to get back to the logical side?
I'm allow you to be in it. You walk in my office and we already see we got some stuff. I will allow you to wallow. You can roll around on the floor, emotionally do whatever. You can cry. I want you to cry.
Right.
I want you to cry till all the Kleenexes are gone. I want you to cry.
Get it out.
Get it all out. I want you to cry till you're like, I feel like I want to cry, but I don't have any more tears left.
Yeah.
Good. We're in a place where we can do some work now.
Yeah.
How about that? So go through the process. Don't tell yourself, oh my God, I got to be strong. That's baloney.
It is.
I don't mean baloney, but you're on a podcast.
Yeah. I know.
That is baloney. Like, I need to be strong. What? Again, what's the question?
For who?
For who? Why? What? Who said? No. I need you to take a couple of days off from work if you have to. Stay in the bed, wallow around, don't shower, whatever you need to do for
Don't
us
shower.
to get
I love
past
that.
it. Yeah, don't shower, don't brush your teeth or anything like that. Like eat donuts and all that.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah, do what you need to do, but we will stay in this pain until we can move. I'm not going to let you stay there. I'll tell my patients, I don't let you stay there long.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's enough. If on Sex in the City, remember when Carrie, that's my favorite part, when she says, no, close the curtains, close the blinds. And they left her there for a few days. After the wedding when Big didn't. Anyway, Sex in the City is like one of my old-time favorite movies. So she was there in that place, and she's like, no, I just want to be here. Close the blinds. I'm going to stay here. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. And so her friends allowed her to stay in that place. I'm going to allow you to stay in that place for a little while, but after a while, I'm going to come in and say, honey, you got to eat something. And so what I may do at that point then, I may feed you emotionally.
Right.
We're gonna talk about it, and you may not do a lot of talking at that point. That's gonna be on me.
So, what's the first thing someone can do to kind of pick themselves back up?
Attach yourself to a support system. Okay. Who's that girlfriend? Not the girlfriend that has the matches and the diesel that's gonna burn his house down.
Yeah, let's not go that one.
We're not going to her. Okay. So you need to attach yourself to a support system, not one that's going to say, see, I told you,
not
you
an
shouldn't
enabler.
have done.
Not another victim.
Not another victim. Not the angry girlfriend, that she's willing to show up with the garbage bags and the shovel. Not her. But someone you trust your emotions with.
Mm-hmm. Someone you can be vulnerable with.
Very much so. And really open and honest. And so attach yourself to a support system. It may be somebody that you don't even know. It may be somebody at your church. It may be a support group. It may be a total stranger like myself, a therapist, where you just kind of say, I don't know what's happened, but I need some help.
Right.
Okay. So attach yourself to a support system, number one. When you finally get done wallowing in the bed and all the other stuff. So support system is number one. Mm-hmm. And from that, let's determine what you want. Who are you? What do you want? I say when you go into relationships or anything, if you don't know what you want, it's kind of like going to Walmart without a list.
Yeah.
And so you end up with all kinds of stuff in your basket. And when you get to the checkout, you pay for it.
I love that analogy. Like, I exactly know what you're talking about, and you definitely pay for it.
You pay for it.
So you go in there for 3 things, and you walk out $200 worth.
Exactly. And so our lives and relationships are no different. And when we walk into this emotional Walmart and we just start throwing stuff in the basket, we get to the counter and we pay for it.
And we know what's good for us and what's not good for us.
Exactly. I know I should not have that Creole cream cheese bluebell ice cream. I know this. I know this. Mm-hmm. But it's in my basket.
Right.
I know I shouldn't be attached to this dysfunctional person, but there's something that's there.
Do you find there's a lot of codependency out there?
Oh, geez. You want to do another podcast? How much time we got? Let me see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, I see so much of it. Like, people I work with, because they have voids in their life they've never wanted to personally deal with. Mm-hmm. They're always seeking for that external validation in someone else. Yes. I used to be so bad about that.
Yes. Separate yourself. Is that the time you separated yourself? When was it? Was it after that? It was after?
Oh, it was definitely like when I hit one of my rock bottoms.
Yes.
And I had to rediscover who I was.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there it is.
I had to find my truth.
Yes.
Before I actually stopped, like I just said, giving people a discount in my life.
Yes.
And stop. And I have this debate with a lot of people. It's one of my hot topics is internal versus external validation. Because so many people nowadays are just in this constant loop of external gratification.
Yes.
From social media to their friend circle, what they drive, the clothes they wear.
Right.
They're always seeking external gratification.
What are my friends going to think?
And unless you're hooked up to that IV 24/7, it's not going to always be there.
Right.
Only once you find the internal gratification of who you really are and who you were put on this earth to be,
Yes.
that's the only thing that's going to be with you when
Yes.
times get tough.
And so I get the question, how did you find the purpose? How do you find that purpose?
Oh, yeah, that's a big question, people.
Yes. I don't have a 1 through 12 step
No,
program
it's
that I
not.
can send people through and say, so this is what you do, and then this is what you do next, and then you do this. No, there is no 12 step program to discovering your purpose. What I will say in discovering my purpose, I disconnected the chaos. I disconnected myself from chaotic people. I surrounded myself with positive things. I got to know me. Self-discovery is probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life, is just to
I agree.
discover who I am, what I love to cook. I love yoga. My friends was like, what? Just last week. So I said, I love yoga. It was like, you don't ever sit still. This is why I love it.
Right. It forces you to.
It does. And I need that in my life, to just sit. And I'm also writing a book, and there was titled She Is. It is written. I'm waiting on publication, but that was my fault. Anyway. And in that, one of the pieces in the book, it talks about me being on the mat and how I had been running all day and the night before with homework and school and my daughter and all these things. And once I finally made it to the mat, there was this stillness there where the yoga teacher was saying, inhale. And she was so softly like this. And she was exhale and inhale and exhale. And it just seemed like that went on for so long. And before I knew it, like I was fighting tears. I was literally biting my lip. And it's just like, if I opened my eyes and blinked one time, it was over.
Yep.
And so you self-discovery is so amazing.
I agree.
I learned how to ballroom dance.
Okay.
I love it.
I like it. I like it. I was listening to a guy a couple weeks ago, Kyle Cease, actor, comedian, but he does like personal growth now.
Okay.
And he walked on stage and he's like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have nothing prepared. I'm gonna just let what
I love
comes,
sessions like that.
let
Yes.
this just come through me.
Yes.
And he said, but I'll be honest with you. If we would just sit here in silence for the next hour and a half, we would probably get a lot more accomplished than me up here talking for an hour and a half.
Wow.
If I just made you sit in your own crap for an hour and a half,
Yes.
we'd get a lot more done.
Yes.
But that's not what you paid for, so I want you to get your money's worth.
There you go.
But no, I agree. Like for me, I don't do yoga anymore, but I do like 20 or 30 minutes of stretching post-workout.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit high energy like you are.
Yes.
And I get my energy out while I'm working out, so therefore I can slow down and stretch after my workout. And I'm sitting there holding stretches for 2 to 4 to 5 minutes at a time, just breathing.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, when I finish that, I'm just like,
Yes.
this is a great feeling
Yes.
of like your mind actually being slow.
Yes. And
Because-
you and I both don't know what slow is.
No, I don't. So speaking of that, one of my last like big questions for you.
You said that earlier on the last question, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Stop it. Stop it. Because I think this is a big problem with today's society and the way we live our lives, especially people like me and you who are always just running and gunning.
Going. Mm-hmm.
What is balance?
Ooh. Oh. That's balance. Wow.
Because I know this one's personal for you too.
Yes, it is. Very much so. So my balance has been, in the past, it has been, I run, I blow, I go. You know, sometimes you'll see me on Facebook and I'm working on a 15-page paper tonight and it's 1:00 and I'm still going. And so I'd go to bed at 3:00 and I'd sleep for a few hours and I'd get back up at 6 or 7 and start my day at the office. That was or has been probably for the last 5 to 7 years, is to press through. That was my balance. I'd press through and press through till the end of the semester. My girlfriend will call me and say, hey, we're going to Gulf Shores. I was like, I got my stuff packed already. What, like,
Let's go.
yes, I'm just gonna put my swimsuit in my purse, and anything else I'll buy when I get there. So that has been my balance. Dysfunctional, very much so, very much so. Now I will kind of blow and go, and my staff are looking at me and saying, "You didn't answer my email at 2:30 in the morning. Why?" Because I was asleep. They were like, "What? What is sleep? We are team no sleep." So
Yeah. But as society, that's being pushed right now. Team no sleep.
yes.
Like we're supposed to be like this overly grinding hustle mode society, right?
I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was like pressing through on everything from homework to credentialing staff,
Which is so good for your health.
Oh my gosh. To policy and procedure, to running this new business and all the things that come along with it. People, you do not wake up and just start a new business. That is a myth. You don't wake up and just say, "Oh, we have a new business." No,
right.
That is not it. So I was blowing and going and pushing through constantly with no sleep, and my body was tired, my mind was tired, and so finally I said, "I've got to take a break. Like, I'm exhausted." I was burnout of the burnout.
Mm-hmm.
So now I make it to bed by 11, 12
Okay.
sometimes. So
that's about me.
That's better.
Yeah.
Than 2 or 3. I put my phone down. I turn it on silent.
Right.
I turn this thing off, because even if it's not,
I don't even wear mine anymore.
oh, I take it. I during the day I will.
Yeah, because you're working.
Yes. But I take it off. I turn it off, because even if my phone was on silent, I would forget to put this thing on silent. So then I would see the light, and
it would just, the anxiety would kick in.
Yeah. Here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my balance now. I've incorporated back to yoga. I've incorporated running again. I've incorporated a personal trainer.
Good.
I've incorporated eating more vegetables. I've incorporated more water, like the simple things in life. I need better food and water, exercise, like all of these things that worked for me in the past in my whole self-discovery. I'm back to that.
I love it.
That's balance.
I love it. You're taking care of yourself again.
I'm trying.
It's so hard.
I know.
It's so hard, especially when you're so busy taking care of other people.
I wasn't good yesterday when I was writing that 17-page paper, because I had chips, and I had chicken, and I had chocolates, and yeah. But anyway, I'm back.
Balance.
Yeah, balance. Today I will eat salad, and yeah, that's it. And smoothies.
Yeah, I bet.
And coffee.
Oh, coffee. Love that stuff. Okay, so kind of in closing now, what, and this is like one of my big questions I always ask people.
Okay.
What is your definition of happiness?
Woo. Yeah, I never let my patients say, "I just want to be happy."
Right.
It's like, I'm happy in the morning when I have my coffee.
Yeah.
Happiness for me is a deeper sense of being grounded, surrounded with my own love for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I have people that pour into my life, like, that's beautiful. But me being to a point where I can do that for myself now, because there was a point where I couldn't do that.
Right.
So that, to me, if I have to come off the dome, that would be my happiness right now.
Self-love.
Self-love.
Authentic self-love.
Yeah. I'm going into a new phase of life. I'll be 50 in 2 years.
Wow. You don't look 50. Congratulations.
I know, right? I'll be 50 in 2 years. All of my kids are adults. So this was my first holiday where everybody kind of did their own thing.
Ooh, that's an adjustment.
Oh, golly. I was like, oh, can I book a flight to Vegas? No, I got homework to do. So my happiness is kind of, because it was kind of based on, I've had kids since I was 15.
Right.
So my happiness was kind of in that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and it still is. But I don't have to be so hands-on. Now I'm hands-on with their lives and their boyfriends, and and I have grandkids. And so all of these other things that kind of play a part in my happiness, but the root of that is my own self-love.
Amen.
Amen.
It's I love that answer from you because I'm a firm believer it's got to be internal, not external.
Yes.
And that's very internal.
Yes.
And that takes some work.
Yes.
I mean, we can't even take compliments from other people, much less believe our own compliments. Like, hey, bro, you're going to do something special today. No, you're not. You know?
Right.
We have a hard time accepting that.
Yeah.
So I love that answer, and I totally agree with it. So where can people, because you do have an amazing social media, where can people go to follow you?
Woohoo! Yay! I'm glad you asked. Facebook. I am Sheila the Therapist on Facebook. We also have a business page, Rivers Psychotherapy Services. We're on IG. We're on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn as Sheila Rivers.
All the
We
above.
also, yes, we have a website, riverspsychotherapyservices.com. Yeah, you can call our office, 707-728-5131.
Throw it out there.
Yes.
I'll put all this in the description below, guys.
Yes.
Awesome. So I want to acknowledge you for a minute. You're one of the most amazing people I've ever come across.
Oh.
Like your energy, guys, I know like you're not like really feeling the energy this woman brings into a room, but ever since the first time I've met you, you've had this amazing, it's almost like this combination of like this exuberant loud energy, but very like calm and sweet at the same time. And that's hard to find. Because you have such a big personality, yet you're calm and sweet and like welcoming and like caring. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for always bringing that energy, because I know that's not easy.
No.
Especially because I know some of the behind the scenes of how like your business is evolving and things are growing, which is a great thing, but also can have more stress and more things going on. Yeah. But yet you continue to show up and bring that person every time I see you. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And thank you for what you do. I mean, one of the reasons we identify so much and we always talk is we have the same mission every single day.
Yes.
Today I change lives.
Yes.
Like that's the mission. And we'll sometimes joke about that. Like
we are Wonder Twins.
Yes.
Wonder Twins activate.
Yes. And that's like our mission every day we wake up is like today we change lives.
Yes, we do.
And I'm hoping that this podcast is going to change some lives. The content's been amazing. I'm sitting here just like listening. I was like, wow, this is great. I love this. So that's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This has been amazing, and I'm definitely going to have you back on.
I had to pin him in the calendar, guys.
Yeah, like she's been putting me off for like 2 months. This is the first time in 2 months she's actually fit me in her schedule. It's okay. You've been opening a new business. You've been opening a new business. So I understand. So guys, that's going to wrap up our show today. As always, go to the Biohacked Life on Facebook and join our tribe. RobbyD'Angelo.com. You can find out more of everything, guys. The merch store is officially up. So go online, get some merch. As always, if you want to give back, please, if you want to support this podcast, go support Rise Up Health Initiative, where we're working in the schools on mental health awareness, helping these kids overcome a lot of challenges we talked about today. And lastly, I want to thank our sponsor, Neo Life Physical Therapy, guys. That's where I go get all my work done. There's an amazing group of people that see life the same way me and Sheila did. Today we're going to change lives. Robbie's actually been on the podcast. Amazing individual that actually cares about helping you. So that's it for today, guys. Go out there, love, and change the world. Until next time, love you guys.